Supriti, and
Hi,
maybe I
Supriti.
can tell you while Harsh is a
Yes,
little
yes.
bit busy with the tech stuff. So the idea is that we want to bring together all creative people from all over South Asia and from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, India, Sri Lanka, as much as possible. And right now, we are focusing a lot on filmmakers, so documentary films, short films,
Right,
and feature films.
right.
We've Harsh planned this, in the first season from 2nd to 9th of August when we did IVIFF, the first season, and it was quite successful. We had very nice films that were screened.
That was last year.
No, this year. Just after the pandemic hit us, then we
Okay.
decided to go online. So just 2 months ago, actually.
Oh, I see.
And because it was so successful, and a lot of artists requested that her should plan this again. In fact, Vishal Bhardwaj ji said, he said, do this once every week. So I don't know how that would have worked out. But yeah, so that's why we decided to do this second edition, and we are back with it. And Harsh,
So,
as always, meticulous.
where are you based, Harsh, Supriti?
Yeah,
Where are
so
you guys based?
I'm based in Delhi nowadays. But I belong to Delhi,
Hmm.
but I keep spending a lot of time in Bombay as well.
And how many films are there part of this edition?
It's about 25 films, including documentary and short films.
I see.
So,
And I'm based in Bangalore.
You're based in Bangalore.
so let me start. So, friends, we have eminent filmmaker, producer, director, actor, Mr. Rajat Kapoor with us. He was born in Delhi. He mainly focused on acting at first. In 1983, he joined the theatre group Chingari in Delhi, later moving to Pune to attend the Film and Television Institute of India. He has acted in numerous successful films and also has directed many films, which we will discuss with him. We welcome Mr. Kapoor. Yes. Sir, I wanted to ask you the first question.
Yes.
A young teenager boy in Delhi who was fascinated with films, how did he carve his way to Mumbai? Was it difficult initially to get permission from your family? Convince your
Yes,
parents?
yes. It was very difficult because my father had a printing press and he wanted me to join him in business. And it's not that he forced me, but a little bit of emotional blackmail, a little bit of helplessness, and you feel you have no way out. So that was the feeling. It's not that you were forced to do that. It was just that this is how it is. There is no other way. It can't be any other way. The idea of leaving Delhi and leaving home seemed impossible, and leaving home to study at FTII, it seemed crazy, and I can't say why, because really, like I said, they were not forcing me to stay, but I don't know. I suppose that's how we were brought up in that generation, that things were expected of you, and then you just fell in line. So that took a little bit of time, courage, making up my mind, resolve to say I am going to Pune for 3 years. So I went to Pune for 3 years, and after that, I started working in Bombay as an assistant director. But even then, my dad had this idea: okay, just 3-4 years, let him do all this. He'll finally come back to the printing press. He was pretty convinced. So even after 3 years of FTII, when I would go home
Yeah.
for a break, so he would say, "अच्छा तो फिर क्या सोचा आपने?" And I would say, "क्या सोचने का पापा, अभी तो हो गया. Now I'm doing stuff. सोच लिया जो सोचना था." And then when in 93, 94, I made my first film, Tarana, short film. And that got the National Award for Best Short Film. Then I think my dad was convinced, okay, maybe this is what he wants to do. And he saw the film. He saw the film at City Fort, where there was a panorama showing. And he loved it. He just absolutely loved it. And he thought it was beautifully shot. And I think then he was finally convinced, okay, this is what he wants to do. He's not going to join the printing press, that's for sure.
You have worked in low budget but content oriented, very successful films such as Beja Fry. In fact, you have frequently collaborated with artists like Vinay Pathak and Ranveer Shori.
Ji.
So, what is so magical about this combination?
Uh, they're both wonderful actors, first of all. Besides that, we have good friends. They're phenomenal actors. And I respect them very much. And they have an ability to become many, many people. So that's why, especially Ranveer for films, I keep going back to him for mixed doubles, Mithya, Fatso, and now Kadakh. I mean, and then after this, RK also, Ranveer is in it. So it's quite something that he becomes many people, different people, transforms as the film requires. But I must tell you something, Harsh. It is not just Vinay and Ranveer people see on screen and see our friendship. But my cameraman for Tarana,
Yes.
Rafi Mahmood, in '93, and I've made 8 feature films and 2 short films, and all of them have been shot by him.
Oh,
So, yes, so it has been almost 30 years of being with Rafi. My sound recordist for my first film, Private Detective, was Rasul Pukuti. Till date, it is Rasul Pukuti.
yes.
My editor, since Raghu Romeo, is the same, Suresh Pai. So I have a long-lasting relationship, not just with actors, but with my whole team. So Rafi Mahmood as cameraman, Rasul Pukuti as sound designer, Suresh Pai as editor. Now Sagar Desai as music director since Mixed Doubles. Isha and Darshan for costumes. Meenal Agarwal for production design. It's a steady team. Film after film after film after film. And I like it that way. I think it's nice that that you work with people that you know and who know you, and in a way you grow together. You
Yes.
share a certain aesthetics and you go to it. I hope that answers the question.
Yes. Yeah. So you believe in building relationship and also understanding of each other's work, which
Right.
develop over the time.
Exactly.
Sir, you have been the most successful Indian filmmaker in raising mass support for your films. From Raghu Romeo, where you collected funds by sending emails, or for Aankho Dekhi by posting on social media,
Right.
or even for Kadakh, this film which we are going to screen, you raised.
Not for Kadakh, but for RK Art and crowdfunding again.
Yeah, sorry, you did crowdfunding. So,
For
what is
RK
the
Art.
secret behind getting
The
this?
secret is that regular producers are still not funding my films. That is the secret. It's not a happy secret. The secret is that I wait for many years. I go with my scripts to all studios, to regular producers. I'm turned down because they think these kind of films are risky or not viable. And then, out of desperation, this idea of crowdfunding or something like that happens. It's not an easy solution. Uh, but yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
That you are one of very few successful filmmaker who succeeded in raising such support.
Right. I would say one of very few unsuccessful filmmakers who succeeded in crowdfunding.
Supriti, you want to say something?
Yeah, so actually, I'm just curious because, when Bheja Fry came out, it brought a new wave of cinema. It was after a long time, I think we saw a film which was just 1.5 hours, but it was so successful. So it brought this story of less is more, right? Just do a 1.5 hour film, but super effective and super message and bang on instead of 3 hours, a message going long and elongated. It brought in so much with that. Of course, your partnership with Vinayji and Ranveer and others. But tell us something about that. What did you feel like? When if I was to say that you are the guys who brought in that wave of new cinema, where the division between art and commercial sort of
First of
broke
all,
down.
I want to say that Beja Fry was not directed by me.
Yeah,
Beja
you were
Fry,
part of it. Yes.
right? Beja Fry was directed by Sagar Ballari, I
Yes,
was
yes,
the executive producer on the film, and I also
yes.
acted in the film. No, I just want to clarify it because all the credit goes to Sagar Ballari, not to me. He did a good job of making that film. Uh, yeah, but we were trying to do what we were trying to do,
Mm.
what we believed in. With Raghu Romeo in 2003, then I made Mixed Doubles in 2005, whichever happened in 2006, and Mithya also happened the same year. Uh, we believed in a certain kind of cinema, and we were trying stuff. Now I don't know how it happens, but some things click with an audience, some things don't click so well with an audience. None of us were expecting Beja Fry to become this big, frankly.
Yeah.
Nobody. Not us, not the producer, Mr. Sunil Doshi. Nobody. We thought it's one of those films, some people will watch it, it'll come and go. Uh, it was a freak success, and it was very nice, very pleasant. I think Vinay Pathak gained a lot out of it because he kind of became a star. Uh, Sagar Bellari also gained a lot. Sharath Kataria had written dialogues for that film. Uh, that was also beginning of his career of Sharath.
It reminded me of, Jane Bhi Do Yaro and the kind of stuff that that movie had done at that time, so
Right,
long back.
right.
It sort of had elements like that, and it was so refreshing because I think what Bheja Fry brought was all of a sudden a film didn't have to appease to the entire country's population,
Right,
but it could be made just for one small section, like the urban milieu.
right.
And the country we live in is so nicely populated that even one small section is a really big number.
That's
So
true.
the economics worked, and I think the demand and supply, everything worked perfectly for that film. But it really brought a new sort of confidence for a lot of filmmakers to experiment with new topics, new kinds of cinema, not the same old classic romance film. And
Maybe,
do you
maybe.
agree with that?
It's no, but it's not just one film that does that. Supriti. It's a uh, it's a series of many films which slowly changed the atmosphere.
Mm.
And also, I think what happened around that time, around 2000, is that multiplexes had come in.
Yes.
So because of the multiplexes, the scenario had changed a little bit. Our films could actually get a release. Before
Yes.
2000, you could not release it, even if you made a Beja Fry. Where would you show it? I had made a film called Private Detective in '97, never
Mm.
released. Because where would you release it? Uh, and then that time was good because multiplexes had just come in, and that became, and a lot of audience who had stopped going to cinema had
Mm.
started again around 2000. The so-called middle class uh,
Mm.
urban audience
Yes.
started going back to cinema. So that became our audience, and that was so. It is all of that. It's not one film doesn't change the
If
overall
I could
scenario.
take a question on the business of filmmaking,
Right?
since you brought it up,
Did
what
I?
do
I
you?
didn't bring it up.
No, no. I'll explain my question, and then you will
Yeah.
understand what I'm referring
Okay.
to. But since there are many young, young film script writers and producers and directors, actors who want to do something very phenomenal, very new, and they don't seem to find support, like you yourself said some time back. You don't find the right producers for your kind of films. What do you think is a system? What is the kind of systemic change we can bring about in our country to support this? Of course, NFDC was brought in long back, and that's very different. What's
You're
the
right.
kind of
That
systemic change we
NFDC was a
need?
big thing. You're right. State support is a huge thing for any kind of a progressive cinema. And then that stopped around mid 80s. So in fact, if you look at the cinema of 70s, almost all the new wave filmmakers made their first film with NFDC support. Whether it's
Mm.
Mani Kaul or Kumar Shani, Ketan Mehta, Vinod Chopra, Saeed Mirza, they made their first, second, third films with NFDC. Uh, so that really brought in a whole new generation of filmmakers.
Mm.
Uh, what is the systemic? I think this state support is one big uh, thing which is not likely to happen, unfortunately. We would like to see it, of course. For a country that makes, I don't know how many crores, hundreds of crores out of entertainment tax,
Yes,
why can't we give back to cinema a little bit?
correct.
Why can't we give back, let's say, 50 crores every year to make films that will bring prestige to the country, that will bring something else? It's not only about money all the time, is it? Or it should not be, at least. That is one thing. The other thing, I think, is a slower process of the audience taste change. It's not going to happen overnight. It'll take, I think, maybe 15 years, 20 years. That's a slow process, but eventually that will happen. Hopefully that will happen after 20 years. We don't know. Because as people get more and more exposed to world cinema, as they get exposed to better films, maybe they will demand better films from the makers. Maybe they will start saying, okay, we don't want the same routine.
I do see some big stars, like Priyanka Chopra has started a production house which focuses on supporting vernacular cinema and producing that. So I'm not sure how responsible some of the mainstream actors really feel towards new cinema, if I could call it that.
I don't see they are part of a system. And the system has been there for at least last 80 years, and it's a system that has worked. So the big production houses, the big producers, the big actors, they are part of a system that has worked for them many years, and it is still working. It's not that it's not working now. So why would they leave that system and try something else in the first place? They won't normally. If your films are making money, if you're getting an audience that seems to like what you're doing, why would you want to change? You won't. So the change has to come from somewhere else. From, I don't know, from a little more enlightened space, I think. A little more aware space.
Right.
Well, people who say that, okay, film, of course, is a business, but it's not only a business. We can talk about maybe not making a profit of 50 crores. Maybe we'll be happy with 5 crores. Maybe we can take a risk if we make a small film for 3 crores. Okay, we'll lose 1 crore, but maybe 2 will come, but maybe something else will happen. Right. And it can't even be about one film, Like, for example, Manish Mundra is doing this.
Yes.
And I really, he produced Aankhon Dekhiye, and after that, he's gone on to produce Masan and Newton and Kadvi Hawa and many other films.
Yes.
So it's not about one film, and is that one film going to bring you profit? That, I think, it's a lousy approach. You have to think of it as a long-term thing, 5 years, 10 years, and you make a bouquet of films. Okay, 1 or 2 films maybe lost 2 crores, but something else got you 20 crores. So it kind of balances out. And then that's how studios should work. That's how the great studios in Hollywood in the 50s used to work. Not anymore. Now they just want to make Avengers, unfortunately. But in the golden age of Hollywood, that's how they worked. They would make 3 films to get the money, but 2 films they'll make for the Oscars.
This is something we can talk a lot about, but I think we should move on to other things, because I often think, why can't we have corporate houses supporting this? Why can't we have
Supriti, because everybody has an idea for it. I've been there for now 25 years, more than 25 years. And every time there's a change that happens, we think, okay, now this is a good change. Hollywood studios are coming in. Warner Brothers are coming in.
Yeah.
Wow. They will make decent cinema. Really? Without multiplexes are coming in, that will be our space. Really? No. Multiplexes are now showing the same thing that always happened. Then we thought, okay, OTT platforms are coming. They will support our cinema. Really? No. Everything that happens here gets sucked in by Bollywood. It's Bollywoodized. Same system continues. So now to hope the corporate houses will come, now to hope that this will happen, this Messiah will come, I'm sorry, nothing is going to come. Nothing is going to come, nothing is going to change.
So crowdfunding is the way forward.
Crowdfunding is a terrible way. It's a way out of desperation. But the eventual turning around will be when people get more demanding. When people say, "I don't like this crap," you know,
Yeah,
it is
which
up
I
to
think a
you.
lot of people are saying today.
Not enough. Not enough. When they have to pay, you still go out and watch a big Bollywood commercial film. When you have to pay 300 rupees, you don't go and watch Kadakh. I'm sorry. You say, okay, Kadakh, I'll watch it on YouTube. It's,
By the way, your Aankho Dekhi was a very successful film. It
it
was
wasn't. It wasn't at the box office. When it released, now this is the problem. The perception is that it was a very successful film. And it is in many ways, but not when it was released at the box office. Because first of all, you don't get shows, Harsh. You get terrible shows. You get a show at 4 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and one somewhere in Malad or Gurgaon at 11:30 at night. That's it. That's all you get. And then there is no awareness in the audience that such a film is coming. How do you tell people that Aankho Dekhi is coming? What is Aankho Dekhi? Why should I go and watch Aankho Dekhi? Sanjay Mishra is in it. Who's Sanjay Mishra? So the whole thing is that if you have a big star in your film, and that is why producers want stars in their films, because there's an immediate recognition, there's an immediate awareness in the audience. They know, I know that a James Bond film is coming out in November, and I will go and watch that. But this is beginning of October, but I already know that in November, a James Bond film will come. I know that Suryavanshi is coming in Diwali. I have no idea what Suryavanshi is, but I know it's a big Akshay Kumar film. I know already that it's coming out around Diwali. I'm saying that is the power of stars.
Yeah.
They reach you.
Do you think? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Do you think you did a few roles in so-called commercial films where
Yeah, go on.
so people recognize you much more and look forward to some of your films because they begin to notice and recognize the power of your acting, which they would have seen, say, in a corporate or in a
there are two answers. First of all, there are not many roles for people like me, for actors like me. Okay, and if there are roles, they're not in the very mainstream films. It will still be a Drishyam or a corporate, and then they're not great roles. Corporate was a very good role, but normally, can I be honest? Normally, we don't write good scripts. First of all, we don't write good roles. So what is the point of doing a commercial film? And it's not that as if they want me. I'm not Shah Rukh Khan, so it's not that I'm rejecting everything. It's not coming my way either.
We're very excited that you're here. I must tell you this. I have to say this.
Thank you.
When I got to know from Harsh that you're going to be here, I was super excited because I think there are people like me, definitely, and Harsh.
Of course there are.
To you as a phenomenal actor. I've gone to watch you in Rangashankara and Bangalore and so many other places. But
of course there are. There's a big audience for our films, but it's not big enough. It's not big enough to make a difference. And like I said, this audience is not, they'll come to Rangashankara, they'll come to Prithvi Theatre and buy a ticket for 500 rupees or 300 rupees. For a play they will, for a film they won't. So this mindset still has to change. I remember, Harsh, when I started theatre in Delhi, people didn't want to pay even 50 rupees to watch a play. They didn't. Sir, pass मिलेगा क्या? अरे यार 50 रुपए दे दो यार, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. लेकिन आप पान खा जाते 30 रुपए का, आप 50 रुपए नाटक के लिए नहीं दे रहे हैं.
दिल्ली में पास का कल्चर है, वो चाहे म्यूजिक.
That's what I'm saying. It's a mental state.
वो दिल्ली में है, बैंगलोर में नहीं है.
बैंगलोर में नहीं है. Correct. But for films, I think there's still a resistance.
तो रजत जी,
हाँ. बोलिए.
नहीं, मैं ये पूछ रही थी, अगर आज के तारीख में कोई, if there's a young kid who comes to you and seeks advice from you and says, should I do theatre or should I do cinema? What would you advise the person?
There is no choosing like that. I think it's not a choice to make. It's like saying, should I paint or should I make cinema? Hello. Who are you? What are you? Are you a painter? Then paint. If you're a filmmaker, then make films. So theatre and cinema is not the same thing at all. It's a different craft. If you're inclined towards theatre, please do theatre. If you love cinema, please do cinema. But do what you love, and don't do it for any other reason. Don't do cinema because it'll get you fame, it'll get you money. Don't do it for that. That will be my advice.
We
Do
find a
theatre.
lot of theatre actors who have entered cinema, from Nasiruddin Shah, Shabana Azmi, all of you who have come in. But you still you still want to go back and be on stage because
There are
the
not
joy
many.
of...
There are not many. There may be about 10, which is not too many. Nasir Saab and Shabana, Vinay, these are good examples. But there are not many like that. And this is about acting. So for actors, both medium can still work. But if you
Right.
are a filmmaker, then it's not that you can do a director play also. But it's completely different medium. Even for actors, I think it's a very different medium. Because I have many very good friends who are very good theatre actors. But that does not mean that they're also very good film actors. You know? Because it's really a different skill set.
Right.
Nasir Saab, Vinay and Veer, these are exceptional actors. And they're very few left. Because a lot of film actors work internally. They work with the camera. I don't know if Dilip Kumar Saab would be a good theatre actor. I don't know. He's such a great film actor, in my opinion. I may be wrong, but this is my belief that a good film actor does not necessarily make a good theatre actor, and vice versa. Balraj Sani, I love Balraj Sani. I don't know how he was on stage. I have no idea. But I have a feeling that he wouldn't be a good or as good a actor on stage as he was on cinema.
So you reminded me of his film by taking his name. I'm thinking, a lot of cinema follows reality.
Right.
So when India had the drought situation, we created Do Biga Zameen. Then we had the 62, 65, 71 wars, and there was a whole lot of movies around war and the feeling of patriotism. And then, so it sort of follows reality. You find violence against women, you have a Pink and other things coming up. And then, so I'm just asking you, do you think there are script writers writing away right now about the pandemic and stories about it?
I'm sure there are. In fact, some short films and stuff have already been put online. Yeah, this will happen. See, but also it'll get boring. I mean, how many films about pandemic can you watch? One or two. Third film, people wearing masks will say, "Yeah, chalo, yeah, okay. I want to see Shah Rukh Khan's face. I don't want to see the mask on his face."
Rajat sir, before we start the film, I just mention this platform, Indus Valley, which we are trying to create, a platform where filmmakers from all South Asian countries can collaborate, they can meet, they can exchange ideas, they can interact. And also, they can plan co-productions, joint ventures, they can seek each other's help in line production, etc., technical support. And I'm talking about all South Asian countries because we have cultural legacy, be it Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, India. What is your opinion about this this thing which we are doing?
See, I'm on for any kind of collaboration with anybody, because all artists should be able to exchange ideas in the first place. I think that's what you survive on. Any conversation is good with like-minded people or unlike-minded people. Any conversation is good if you can have a conversation. That is, if you can't have a conversation, then it's another matter. Then there's only violence. But we should try all the time to converse, to have a dialogue, to understand what the other person is saying. That is very important. That kind of empathy, that kind of wanting to understand and wanting to communicate your ideas and your experience. That's why we make films. That's why we are in art. The person who's painting has something to share. That's why he's painting. So that is very important. This idea of dialogue is very important and necessary, especially in times like this when people are more and more polarized. I think we should continue talking.
It can also help us to present a unified creative industry of South Asia to international market.
Maybe that will come out of this. I don't know. Maybe it will. Uh, See, now these are byproducts of the main idea. Hopefully, all good things will come out. But the idea itself is strong.
Thank you. So, sir, now it's the time to start the film screening, Kadakh. We are premiering Kadakh today. It's a very beautiful film, and everyone should watch it. Or I invite all our audience to watch it. Would you like to just say a line about the film before we start?
Uh, it'll be nice to talk after the film, actually. But what can I say? It's a mad idea. It's a mad film. I like mad ideas. I like mad people. And then these people you see in the film, they're all slightly twisted, as you will find out. But I want to say that I'm very fond of each one of them, because these are human beings. They're human beings, and human beings have shades, and they have their weaknesses. And so I think the film is about that. It's about human frailty. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be happy to talk about it after.
Sure, sir. So the film will end up around 7:40. So I request you to rejoin us at around 7:40.
On the same.
Thank you.
I'll see you there. Enjoy the film.
Thank you.
Bye, Supriti.
Thank you.
See you again, sir.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed the film Kadakh, the screening of the Kadakh. Now we have director and actor of the film Rajat Kapoor Saab again with us. Sir Rajat Kapoor, we welcome you back with us, and the film has just ended. Hello, sir. So the film has just ended. Supriti, what is your opinion? How did you like the film?
बहुत अच्छी फिल्म थी. एकदम फर्स्ट शॉट से लेके आखिरी शॉट तक मैं बैठी रही, मैं हटी नहीं वहां से.
आपने पहले क्यों नहीं देखी?
मुझे पता नहीं था.
Exactly the point you were discussing earlier.
पर सर जी, मैं आपको एक सजेशन दे रही हूँ. आप एक कंपनी शुरू करो, मैं उसका पहला शेयर खरीदूंगी. फिर आपके पापा आपको कहते थे प्रिंटिंग प्रेस ज्वाइन करो, आप एक नोट प्रिंटिंग प्रेस खोल लेना.
Right.
But it was awesome. I mean,
Thank you
what
very
a lovely film. I love the speed, the connections, the twists in the story, so many of them.
Thank you very much.
मुझे दो तीन फिल्म्स की याद आ गई इसको देख के.
जी बताइए.
एक गोविंद निहलनी जी की पार्टी है ना, उसमें भी the whole scene is around a party and how something comes out of it. And then I remembered the scene from Masoom, when हुजूर इस तरह भी ना इतरा के चलिए, खुले आम आंचल ना लहरा के चलिए. There's that song in the party when just after Nasir Saab's character comes home, and there's this whole thing about
which film?
Masoom.
Masoom.
हाँ, so मैं ये सोच रही हूँ कि पार्टीज में ऐसा क्या है कि सब दबे दबे राज वहां पे खुल जाते हैं.
Well, it's a setting. It's a nice setting, I think, to unravel. I suppose that's it. For me, the idea was that there is a dead body and there is a party. And now to infuse this idea with characters who are slightly, cracked, slightly mad. Everybody has a quirk,
Yes.
I can say that. Somebody is an alcoholic, somebody is a motivational speaker, somebody is actually stealing 500 rupees. Somebody comes in with a mask. One is a single mother, one is a recently divorced man. With all their problems and so on, and very real people still.
Yes.
So the idea was to throw these people together and then see what you get, how they react to each other, how they react to the situation, how they react to finding out the dead body, to finding out the infidelity, and so on.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it becomes almost like a microcosm,
Yes.
this house.
Yes. It was very interesting, and I must say that first scene was just shot when he shoots himself. I was like, it had the impact that it wanted to, I think, because the way you show the blood splashed on that wall, it came out very nicely. And go ahead, Harsh. I have lots of.
Yeah, sir. The opening credit of this comedy begins with a message, a moral tale. A death has happened inside the house, followed by a gathering, and then chaos and confusion all over that compact space. So, why this message is written? A moral tale.
There was also a film I had made called Mixed Doubles, which had the same subtitle. There's a French filmmaker that I like very much. His name is Eric Romer. He made film in the 60s. And he made 6 moral tales. The films which started with a moral tale. Of course, the subtitle here is not a moral tale, but a moral tale.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a slight difference. But even an amoral tale is actually a morality tale. And I think all stories, all fables are exactly that. They are moral tales of how to navigate your life in this universe. Whether it's Sleeping Beauty or Snow White and Seven Dwarfs or Amy's Truth, like Beauty and the Beast. It's finally about telling you how to live in this world in a way.
Okay.
I also like the way you were ending towards the end, the way the solution comes up, and then after the train has passed and then everyone's going back home and then everyone's back in their own world. तो किसी को अपना पतीला याद आ रहा है, तो किसी को ये लग रहा है कि don't cheat on me. That's the most important thing that she's taking away from that whole evening.
Right. That's what we are.
Yeah. So we think that this would have transformed people's lives, with people sort of stay where they are at some point.
One of the interesting thing that some people have asked me in Q&A after the screenings, what happens after this? And that is an interesting question, I think. Will they meet each other? Who will call who? After how many days? Is Yogesh going to call Sunil? Is Rahul going to call Sunil? Maybe next Diwali. Maybe he'll say, "Kya kar raha hai bhai? Tash khelna hai? Chalo." Something like that. But it's interesting, what happens to these relationships? Are Malti and Sunil together after this? I don't know.
And even if they're together, how are they together? So yeah,
is the vase broken? Is the vase broken?
And I was so sad. It was such a beautiful vase. I must say the aesthetics were lovely. The house looked beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Paintings, the pitchway paintings, the art over there was
our
amazing.
Production designer is Meenal Agarwal, and she's amazing.
Yeah, it was beautiful, very beautiful. And I also noticed one thing, though Vinay Pathak is not in the film, but there is a nameplate.
His name is there. Yes.
Yeah? I mean, that's really, it's really something. I did notice it, and I thought I must tell you that, no one is going to say Vinay is not in this film of yours.
Right, he's there.
Yeah, it's lovely.
The film plays a lot with anticipations. A dead body hidden inside a house, a Diwali celebration at the same place.
So there is always a little bit of tension. What will happen now? Yes. How are they managing to hide it? So they take him into the bedroom, and when they come out of the bedroom, you don't know where the body is. They've done something with it, but you don't know where it is. So when the phone call comes, they open the chest, then you realize, oh, yahan pe body hai. And so it works like that. Then when he's gone down for a minute, they're pushing the chest out to play cards on it. And he says, what the hell, why are you doing this, yaar? Isko yahan kyun liya? So there is that, obviously, there's a dead body in the house and somebody, it. So you'll be tense as hell,
Yeah. It's And I think the way that you released information about Chaya, I think that was also nice. You know, the way it's very slowly released, and only towards the end she realizes, oh, this is, you know, butterfly, and then she gets into that. So it was very nicely paced, I would say. No, each character coming out slowly with their own subtleties, and I really liked and appreciated that. Of course, I loved the house a lot. I'm saying that a second time.
Thank you.
So you don't believe in short breakdown method in pre-production, and you have shoot the film in a compact area of a two-bedroom flat with so many characters and a big secret hidden.
This was now see every script, every film has its own
Tell me
challenge,
first who's the
you know,
director and who's the
and it
DOP.
can't be.
Huh? Okay.
There is no
Who's that?
solution which is permanent. You know,
Okay.
there is no single solution for things. You have to find a solution every time. For every script, every film, every shot is a unique problem. You know? So I don't believe that you can have a standard shot breakdown, let's say, for something, or you can have, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, like each moment is really, for example, to answer this question, I don't have a prepared answer, you know, or I could have a prepared answer, but that'll be very boring. But that is exactly, if I go into a film or even into a scene with a prepared shot breakdown, I think it'll be very good. It'll be dead. There will be nothing organic about it. So what excites me is to work with the moment of where the moment is taking me. Discover things at that moment. If you know it already, what's the point? Then it's only execution. There is excitement. You know? And of course, to the second part of the question, of course, it's difficult because, like I said, every film is difficult. There is no easy film. But each film has a different kind of a difficulty set. So in this, we knew the big challenge, more than the shooting and the scripting, is that the whole film is over one night in one space. You know? So how to keep the audience engaged, how to
Yes.
not let it become boring, that was the big challenge. So then you have to work around it, you have to find solutions for it, you have to innovate. And similarly for shooting part, that in how many ways can you show the house, you know, and not repeat yourself. But I think we managed quite well.
So you brought in, you know, like Kalki's character, French woman, and she can sense. I mean, that was a beautiful part. Not like an Indian spiritual leader who's
Right.
saying, "Mujhe pata hai tum." No, not like that, but like a very contemporary kind of belief in spirituality,
Right.
right?
Mentalism.
Yeah, and the way she says when she's leaving, she's like, "Everything is going to be okay." And he's just looking at her like, what is she saying?
What will be okay?
Yeah, he doesn't have any context to her ability to sense and all that because that's happened in the kitchen. So,
But he believes it.
yeah,
When she
he
says
wants
everything,
to believe it, right?
he wants to believe it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, what stopped you from having a character who's like a homosexual?
There is no end to it. What is not there is many things. What, how do you stop it? What stopped me from having somebody who's America written? You know, there is no end to it.
And when we look at contemporary society, we'd have all these kinds of people who are struggling to move away from mainstream and do what they want to do, which is like your character wanting to publish a book for the longest time.
Right.
Then you'd have somebody like, you know, like you said, a single mother. So how do you intend to share this, you know, with audiences like me?
This film is already out on an OTT platform. It's on Sony Live. Came out on 18th of June. And people have watched it.
So I'm going to come back to the little bit of business of cinema. which is always intriguing to me, because I believe a lot of good cinema gets left out because they don't have publicity budgets, they don't have the kind of commercial wherewithal to do what the big budget films do. So I'm somebody like me would be interested to watch a film like this. How do we bridge this gap
You tell
of
me.
sharing the information?
You tell me. Because we have tried for past 20 years and not found a solution.
There
If
has
there
to be a
is,
way.
inshallah, we'll find one, but not yet.
Right. So that was so lovely talking to you. Thank you so much. It's one of the high points of this festival for me personally.
Thank you very much. Thank you
I
very much.
am, if I call myself a fan, I wouldn't do that. I believe fan is a short form of the word fanatic. So I wouldn't want to be that, but definitely a great appreciator of your work and your kind of cinema. So
Thank
I
you,
wish
Supriti. Thank you very much.
great strength to you. I hope you stick on and do like the best cinema, and I will be your best friend when you have your note printing press.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words and for your appreciation to the film. It really means a lot.
Rajat sir, I just wanted to say something.
Please.
You have been always compared with films of Alfred Hitchcock. Are you an admirer of his films, or his films have inspired you ever?
Not really. This one has been compared to Hitchcock's Rope because there's a dead body in a party. Like Supriti said, Govind Rani's party. It's a. But there's nothing else which is similar in that in this. You have a dead body in the house, where will you hide it? You'll hide it in a big wooden chest. It's the best place. Or the fridge, So
जब वो मॉल में लेके जा रहे थे ना डेड बॉडी, मुझे जाने भी दो यारों की याद आ रही थी.
yeah.
Those are classic films you just never forget.
Right.
What is the next project you are working upon?
RKRK is ready.
Okay.
And it will be released, I think, in the next 4 or 5 months,
Okay.
as soon as the environment gets a little better. So that I'm very excited about. And please watch out for that film. Find out when it's releasing. Don't wait
Sure.
for me to tell you when it's releasing.
Sure.
Watch it wherever it is. And then I hopefully, if things go well, I'll shoot my next film next year in 21. Let's see. I'm meeting some producers, talking to them. Let's see how it goes, where it goes. And in this lockdown, I've written 3 more scripts.
Really?
So I'm ready for the next 6 years with my scripts.
Perfect.
Utilize
need
the lockdown productively.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to stay sane. Otherwise, you'll go mad. If you can't do anything at all, you'll go mad.
Yes.
So 3 scripts is not bad. I could have done maybe a little more, but it was difficult.
Really?
Great. All the best, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Supriti. Thank you, Harsh.
Thank you, sir.
Wish you all the best.
All the best, and we are always with you for any. We all are together doing this, and in the journey, we stand with you.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.